Hello and welcome. Um, I think I'm live. Let me just double check. And yeah, I'm live on. Um, I'm testing out live streaming on multiple different platforms. So I don't know where you are checking in from today, but I should be across. There's YouTube, Instagram, Twitch. I just set up Twitch today. It should be on X and LinkedIn. So I'm not sure if all these are up and running. Let's hopefully they are. And yeah, welcome. So, okay, cool. At least Instagram's working, and I just hope that the rest are working. But anyway, let's get started. So today, it's Saturday, and I'm super excited because I really want to get a website up and running for Start Designing Life. And let me just turn this music down a bit. And basically, yeah, I was planning to do it, and what I wanted to do instead is instead of me just working on it, I wanted to try and live stream it. So this is something new that I'd like to do, is to show more the work in progress of things. I hope that this kind of stuff could be interesting. But yeah, so basically I'm going to try and set up a website today, and I'm going to be using Ghost CMS, which is basically kind of like, if you know anything like with websites and stuff, it's kind of like WordPress, like an alternative to WordPress. And WordPress is basically what, I don't know, probably about half of the websites in the world is built on WordPress. So yeah, if you know nothing about websites, then that's totally cool too. And basically you can set up websites super easy these days. You can use websites like Squarespace is one that seems to be really popular, or Wix, things like that. If you've heard it, maybe seen some adverts and stuff for these things. But yeah, the option I want to go for is Ghost CMS. I really love the platform. I think it looks really cool. I've got my personal website set up on that, and I think it's just great because it looks great. It's super fast. It's really good for SEO and different things, and setting up your own newsletter. You can also have subscriptions and lots of really cool features. So, but today, I'm just looking to set one up. And yeah, I thought it'd be kind of cool to kind of do it live on screen. So I will show like a different screen like this, or there is going to be, me kind of showing things as I'm kind of working through. Maybe something like this or something like this. So yeah, we can kind of work on it together. So just as a bit of a show you what we're planning to do today, trying to keep this interesting. And if anyone's got any questions, then just, yeah, this is live. So, yeah, ask away. So this is my personal website. It is running on Ghost. And the reason I love Ghost is that it's just so nice and clean, and it's fast. You can kind of see if you're kind of moving about the website, like this is my newsletter, and it's just super nice to kind of work with. I wonder if I can show you the back end. Let me show you the back end of what Ghost looks like. So that was the website. We can kind of go in and we can kind of see, this is like my dashboard. You can kind of see the subscribers, engagements, open rates, and all that kind of stuff. If you look here, these are all posts. So this is like the newsletter I do. So as you can see, it's just very nice. It's super clean. I love the UI and just how it works. And yeah, you can do really cool stuff. Like you can have subscriptions, so like memberships and things like that, which I absolutely love. So my whole thing is basically I want to help people sell online so they can design lives that they love living. So a big part of that is going to be, if it's creating a personal brand, would be just kind of your own little space on the internet. And so yeah, so this is my website, and this is my own little space on the internet. And yeah, and let me just show you what Ghost CMS. And this is just one way on how to set up your own website. There's plenty of different ways. So if this is the website, if you go to ghost.org, You can kind of read about more what Ghost is, and it's really cool. You can try it for 14 days, completely free, which is super cool. And basically, it's just showing you that you can do your own email newsletter, and you can read all the details in here and why it's awesome. So if you kind of go to the pricing page, you can kind of see here, okay, so you get like 14 days free trial, and there's different plans here. So there's like $9. Basically, it starts at $9, and you can get up to like 500 members. So like the subscribers to your website, which is super cool. So yeah, so this is if you want them to kind of manage it for you. So I would recommend it if you're not, if you just want to get started and you're not too tech savvy and you just want to get started, I would jump in and definitely do this first. But if there is an option, because basically they've open sourced it as well, and that means that you can run it on your, basically you run it on your own. So instead of having these limits, which is about these limitations here with how many users and all that kind of stuff, if you run it in your own, if you self-host it, basically, you can basically go as far as you want. And yeah, these prices here, you don't have to worry about it because you're hosting it yourself. So hopefully that makes sense. But if you self-host it, basically you kind of put it in your own little cloud or hard drive on the internet. And basically you can do that in different ways. One of the ways is using a DigitalOcean is the way that I've got mine set up. So you can see here, it's cloud hosting. And let me see if I can show you the back end of this. So, okay, you can kind of see here, not to kind of go into too many details, but these are like the different websites I have with Ghost that's running up. There's my personal one, there's one from Meta Labs, and I'm trying to start some new ones up as well. So basically, this is me running it myself. Or if you want to support Ghost, then you can definitely do this. It's going to be way easier, and you don't have to worry about updates and things like that. So if you just want to try it out, 14 days free. But today's video is if you want to do it yourself. And, you know, I've done it before, setting up on DigitalOcean, which I might do a video on in general. But what I really want to try to do is set it up with Cloudways, because on Cloudways, I've set up like WordPress sites before, and I haven't seen actually many information about setting up a Ghost on Cloudways. So that's what I'm going to do today. All right. So hopefully that's a bit of an intro, and yeah, I haven't done this before, so this is going to be a just kind of work in progress. I'm going to try and figure it out. We'll try to do it together. I kind of got started yesterday. So yeah, I know I've got like a start a little bit, so hopefully we can finish it off together. And yeah, let's give it a go. All right, so the first thing that we want to do. Okay, so as you can kind of see, we are on the Cloudways website. So if you want to self-host a Ghost, then we want to do it through Cloudways, then we will need to set up a server. So I've already got a server. If you haven't already, that was me talking to support. So let's get the full screen. Okay. So let me see. So I've already got a server. It is a Vultr high frequency server. But yeah, if you want to create an account for Cloudways, I've been using them for like over 2 years now. I think they're great. I run like tons of websites on them, and their support is amazing. I couldn't recommend it enough. I think before, you know, I was using like GoDaddy and things like that to host a website, but I never really had that great experience. So I kind of moved everything to Cloudways, basically because I wanted to speed up my website. Yeah, instead of like using these kind of shared hosting packages and things like that from GoDaddy, I could just run it all myself on Cloudways, which initially I was a bit scared because I'm not that tech savvy. you know. I'm not a developer. I'm just kind of a guy who likes kind of figure out as I go along. So I'm not that tech savvy. I know enough, you know, I know front end code and things like that. Um, but yeah, so anyway, but basically it's super simple with Cloudways. I wouldn't let that kind of put you off. So let me kind of just show you quickly about kind of creating a server. So this obviously is my one, but I'll kind of show you. I'm not going to create one, but like how you do it. So with Ghost, I think it can pretty much run on, I know it runs on DigitalOcean. I'm pretty sure it runs on Vultr, and even Cloud as well. So basically, yeah, you just want to pick, okay, so it's asking about the application. So basically, application is like, so you have your server, and then you want to have the apps which you can run on your server. So you can run multiple apps on your server, which is super cool. So basically, let's change the words up. You can have a server, and the apps can think of as like a website. That's all it is. So you could have one server, but you could have, I don't know, 5, 10 different websites, as many as you want. You can increase the capacity of your server. So that's pretty cool. So in here, we could just stick in like, let's just do a simple WordPress. You know, we could do test, and then what's the server name, you know, like your server, whatever you want it to call. And basically that's it. So what you want to do is you want to select your server. So for example, I am running this Vultr and I'm running high frequency. And as you can read here, which is basically you're just getting like a higher speed CPUs and local storage. So it's basically just a better one. So I would definitely go for that. I think I started with the lowest one, so 1 gigabyte. It's saying here 2 gigabytes or higher for production websites, and 1 gigabyte is for WordPress staging or low traffic websites. So if this is for your personal website and you're just getting started, chances are you're not going to get a lot of traffic to your website. So I would definitely, yeah, start with 1 gigabyte. It's totally fine. And in here, you want to select the server location. Now this is interesting because basically this depends on where do you think you'll get your traffic from. So obviously this is where your server is going to be located, and the closer to like basically if you're from the States, and most of your traffic that you're kind of reaching, your audience, is going to be from the States, then picking a location in the States is going to be helpful. Likewise, if you're from Europe, you want to pick somewhere which is kind of close in Europe, if it's like London or Paris or Amsterdam, and they're same with Asia. So for me, I think I'd probably pick somewhere in Europe when I started. And I think Europe's quite nice as well because I am between Europe and Asia most of the time. So, and I might have some of the audience in the States as well. So I think kind of the EU kind of fits me best as well. So I'd probably pick something like London or Amsterdam as one of the locations. And there you go. So as soon as you do that, you will see here how much it will cost. So it'll cost $16 a month. And basically with that, you can set up as many, you know, WordPress sites as you kind of want. So if they are low traffic, that's the really cool thing, because you could run multiple WordPress sites all for $16 a month. So it kind of works out really good, and it's going to be super fast. I would challenge you to find a way to kind of make your website as fast without going this route. So it'll be faster like than a GoDaddy website and that kind of stuff. Which is super cool. And why the speed? It isn't just for a nice to have when it comes to the speed of a website. It actually helps with just the usability when your users are kind of logging into your website. I don't know about you, but when you go into a website and it just kind of hangs and it takes ages to load, it kind of kills that kind of user experience. And yeah, people bounce. They basically just drop off the website and they might not kind of go further because you have a bad experience. And also in that, Google doesn't like it as well. So that is why speed is important. So basically you do that, you will launch it, and there you go. That's how you launch your own server. But if you're doing Ghost, straight away, you would do a PHP custom app. Okay, so that is us setting up a server. Let's kind of go back. If you already have a server, then you'll just want to kind of set up a new app. So you can go to new applications and you can kind of add an application and select server, add application, and you will want to select a custom app with PHP and just name it and add applications. It takes a couple of minutes to set up. Okay, so now we've kind of gone over that. Let's go over what happens next. So as you can see here, this is my PHP app that I created on this server. And yes, hopefully you can kind of, I'm not sharing too much details. We'll see. But yeah, once you kind of got that, we will need to move and do some funky stuff in terminal. So like I was saying, I was chatting to support yesterday, and this is another reason why Cloudways is super cool, is because their support is amazing. Like I can chat to support, and I feel like they're actually there to help, rather than try to put you off and like put you into like email support and that kind of stuff. So I was chatting to this guy, Shamoon, yesterday, and he was super helpful with just being like, I'm not a techie person, and he was there to kind of like help me, kind of put it together. So that's another reason why Cloudways is super awesome. So anyway, so next up, we want to log into the server through terminal. So I am on Mac. If you are on Windows, I think it's called PuTTY, which is the same idea. Again, if you're a techie person, this stuff is probably super helpful or super straightforward and easy. If you're anything like me and a bit of a noob and you're not too sure about these things, then this information for you. So basically, right, how to do it in Mac, let me kind of show you, is does that appear? Yeah, you want to go into terminal, so like this. Yeah, so this is just kind of your search bar or where you can search for an application, and just search for terminal, and then something like this will pop up. Okay, so we want to basically go into the server. You want to find your server details. So I'm going to go in here, and this is the, okay. So to go into the server, you want to type this in, which is this SSH space, and then you want to put the name of your server, which is this master. This is my name of my server, but you want to put yours in, whatever that is. And then you want to put @ symbol, and then you want to put your public IP in here. So this is mine, you'll see here. And once you do that, you can hit enter. And it'll be the same if you're using like PuTTY on Windows. All right, so the password, hopefully it'll show. But yeah, then you enter the password of your server. And that's it. And if that kind of worked, you will kind of see here where it shows that there. That means you're basically in your server. All right. So once we are in the server, we want to go into the application. So if you imagine, so another way to look at this, it's kind of like if, how would I describe it? It's kind of like folders on a computer. So basically it's like you've logged into your Google Drive account, and then in your Google Drive account, there'll be like different folders, which are your apps or your website. So we want to kind of go into the PHP app, the folder that we created before. So hopefully that helps explain it a little bit better. And to do that, we will need to this here. Okay, so to go into the folder, we will need to cd into it. So it's cd, you can type this in. So cd space /, and you'll see here, it's home /master /application /, and then the bit that'll be different for you is the name. So basically it's like the app name. So this is the name of mine. And you'll see here, that's what you put in at this end bit. And once you do that, you're in. So you're in now your application. And okay, so the next step is, so this is going to be when you're going to be installing the Ghost. Now, and this is as far as I got yesterday. So basically you're catching up on everywhere I've got last night. So as you can see, I was chatting to this support, Shamoon, who's been super helpful, and we're trying to figure this out together. And basically what he did, and let me kind of show you, and we'll pull up a guide too. All right, so there is this website here, and I don't know how I'm going to share this, but I think if you just Google how to install and set up Ghost, let me see. Okay, yeah. So if you're just typing this into Google, there will be in their docs how to install and set up Ghost on Ubuntu, da 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 da. And this is where we kind of want to get the help from. So I was told this from the sport that we don't need to worry about Node.js and all this kind of stuff, which is super helpful. We can kind of skip all that. And we are just down in when it says to install Ghost. So you want to run this into terminal. I don't need to do it, but you would just run that in, and you don't need the sudo. So let me just delete this. So you just want to npm install, and then you want to install this. So basically this is just installing something into that little folder, which is your website folder. So this is going to do that. And if that works all good, which hopefully it is, then once it will run it and it will install some things in. And if you basically type this in after, which is the Ghost version, you will see if it's installed or not. So for me, you can see here, it says Ghost CLL version, which means it's installed correctly. But it doesn't mean that Ghost is actually installed there yet. So hopefully that makes sense. And if that didn't work, then I would get onto the support chat, because when I was talking to support, we were kind of going through things, and then I think they might have done something on the back end. So he said he installed the Ghost sale on his end, so do check. So now hopefully you're in the same place as me, where you can double check, and to go next, you want to make sure that if you put in the Ghost version that you will see this. Cool. Now let's figure out these next steps together, shall we? So next we need to create a directory. So Ghost must be installed in its own directory with a proper owner and permissions. So let's do this. So this is basically, we're trying to create a folder. Okay. And it is asking for a it's asking for the password for the server. Okay, let's see if it's the sudo thing it's not liking. Okay, we're getting permissions denied. Let's try sudo again. So basically this sudo thing is trying to give it more like admin permissions, from what I understand. All right, I'm going to make this bigger, and hopefully you can kind of see what's kind of going on here. So if you're anything like me, when you're working with terminal, it looks a lot scarier than what it is. And yeah, I think whenever you see like well, for me, I'm not a developer, but when I see this kind of black screen with a bunch of text, I instantly freak out. I'm a designer with a design background, so I much rather look at a interface that I can kind of play around with and drag and drop things. So but it's actually not as bad once you kind of get playing with it. So anyway, we have run into an issue here where we're running into a permissions issue. So I'm just going to double check, and this is where we can test Cloudways support um, which is really cool. And we kind of see if they can kind of help us out. And this is the kind of benefits of, um, yeah, if the benefit of using like a company like Cloudways, which you can actually give you some technical help. So this is if you want to do kind of your do-it-yourself model, which personally I love kind of trying to do things myself. I love just kind of learning and geeking out and stuff. So yeah, I think this is kind of cool. So let's ask them for some help. And this is cool for you. If you ever need any help, you can do this route as well. So we want to look at, where are we at? Will help. Let's type in server permissions while trying to set up a ghost CMS PHP app. And while we're kind of waiting for that, I kind of want to show you a couple of things. Okay, the bot didn't help, but hopefully we'll get some live help as well. I'll show you the theme that I am trying to get up and installed. It is called Docs Ghost CMS. All right, so basically, now that I've got into support, I'm just going to hopefully show them a bit of a screenshot. And what I kind of find is sometimes people are more technical than other people, which is fair enough. So hopefully this guy is more technical than me to start with and can help with this stuff. All right, so basically the thing that I am trying to install with Ghost. So the great thing about Ghost is that there's tons of really amazing themes. So if you go to Ghost and you /themes, you can see all the beautiful themes. And some of them are free, which is great. So let me just kind of show you a free one. So, like this one is completely free. So like I'm kind of showing you how to set it up. You can install it and then you can install this theme. And basically this could be your website, which I think is pretty cool. This is more of kind of like a news website, or it could be like a magazine kind of website in style. So they've got free versions, which is super cool. And then they also have paid versions as well. So like some of these might look really cool. Like this looks super cool, this design here. And basically with this theme, you can purchase it. It's $89 and install it, and it'll look pretty much like this. And you just got to change like the logo and yeah, and just start putting in your own content. So what I did yesterday, I bought one of these themes, which is this one here. Let me just check in with. All right, cool. So they've just reset the permissions, and let me try if I can do it again. So let's go back and basically copy this, we'll paste it in here. But one thing that we want to do is when we're creating this directory, which is basically just like a folder file name, I want to put in the actual name of the website. So this is for Start Designing Life. Again, it's asking for the password of the server. Let's grab that. And it still didn't work. Okay, so hopefully while they're figuring that out, I can show you more about this stuff too. So yeah, this theme. So I saw this theme. Let me just go to the actual, this is like the full demo page. And I got super excited because this is exactly what I was looking for. Um, and as soon as I saw it, I thought, I can do so much with this. So basically, this is a theme and it's kind of like, it's basically been designed for more like software development kind of idea. So it's called like docs. And basically you can see here, you have like kind of get started and there's all this kind of information, um, which is kind of like a wiki kind of idea, but you kind of see here, it's all broken down into kind of like these chapters and there's kind of sub chapters and you can kind of skip through like this. But as soon as I saw this, I was like, wow, that is super powerful. And I think as a form of learning and education, this kind of like structure is like super helpful. So what I want to use it for is Start Designing Life, which is all about how to design a life that you love living. And there's like different areas of life from like your body to mind to love, relationship, friends, and all this kind of stuff. And as soon as I saw this, oh, this is a great way to kind of organize that information. So this is kind of the document part, but it also has like just like a normal landing page, which I think looks really beautiful. It's clean and simple. You have a blog part, which kind of looks like this, change log, and all lots of different roadmap. But anyway, I kind of went through this theme and thought it would be absolutely perfect for what I wanted and the use case I wanted to do. So, yep, yesterday I bought it. I think it's like $150, $149. And that's what I'm trying to be looking to install today. So hopefully by the end of this live video, we will have this installed. That's the dream, if everything works out okay. Let's see what the support says. Okay, so something's going on here, and it's something to do with the permission. So I'm not sure if this is on the Cloudways end, or if it's something that we can kind of do here. But I'm kind of updating the support about what's kind of going on here. So yeah, but this is real work in progress stuff. All right, where are we at? Okay, so this is the Ghost theme, and yeah, I'm super excited. I'm going to be using this for Start Design Live. I'm also going to be using it for Meta Labs. I'll show you. I've already got a Meta Labs, um, which is the design and marketing agency that I run, but it also runs on Ghost 2. So this could actually be quite interesting because basically this is the Meta Labs website. You see here, marketing assistant on demand, and this is running on uh, WordPress. So this is all WordPress, which is great. I think WordPress is amazing as well, but I think they have like different pros and cons. So this is on WordPress, but the blog, this is now the MetaLabs blog, and this is all run on Ghost as well. So as you can see, um, I'm using, let me see. You can get lots of different themes. This is a Ghost as well. This is my personal website, and this is Ghost as well, which is the MetaLabs website. And then this is WordPress. So whatever you decide to choose is up to you. But yeah, it's just setting up a website at the end of the day, and there's different pros and cons. But what I'm trying to show you is, yeah, there's loads of different themes and stuff, and you can kind of build whatever you want. So that is the plan for today. And I set it up with, so while we're kind of waiting for Cloudways to hopefully give us some help with this stuff, I can probably show you if you want to do it on DigitalOcean, because doing it on DigitalOcean I think is a lot easier to set up Ghost, because basically they have their apps is basically called these droplets. But the great thing about it, and I'll show you quickly how to do that. Let me just jump back this. Let me just drop some messages into the support, see if we can get ahead with this stuff. Okay, so all right, so just giving them a bit more details. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, so setting up a Ghost website on DigitalOcean. So DigitalOcean is it's just another kind of cloud server, and you can kind of go directly to them. So if you go to DigitalOcean .com, and yeah, so the interesting thing about DigitalOcean is that it basically Cloudways. I don't know who. Maybe DigitalOcean bought Cloudways, but you can see here it's like Cloudways by DigitalOcean. But the thing is I find that the customer support on Cloudways is way better than DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean just kind of leave you to kind of do it yourself, and you have to maybe do like email back and forth and all that kind of stuff. Whereas Cloudways is a bit more kind of user friendly. So even though I've got things on both Cloudways and DigitalOcean, as you can see, I've got things on both. I'm trying to move things more over onto Cloudways. So as you can see, yeah, but I'll show you how to set up Ghost on DigitalOcean just really quickly, because that's even simpler. Okay, so let me see if I can run you quickly. So in order to do this on DigitalOcean, you can kind of go to this, like you create a droplet, which is basically like a server over in Cloudways. And again, you can pick your location. For example, we can choose Amsterdam data center. And when you go down here, you go to the marketplace. And this is where it becomes super cool. It's because you can type in Ghost. Basically, this kind of sets up most of the stuff for you, which makes it super simple. And again, I chose the premium AMD and this one here. Now, the only issue is you can try this one and install it, Ghost on this, but sometimes I've had some issues. Basically, kind of Ghost requires a bit more memory and all that kind of stuff. So if it doesn't work, if you're having problems, you can always try this one. And there's a thing where you can just destroy, basically just like delete their server thing if it doesn't work for you, and you can try this. So if you're having issues and it's not working, it could be due to that. Basically, if Ghost is not installing. So basically all you do is you create this little droplet, which is the server. And then after that, you do the same thing, which is basically you log in via the terminal, and you basically just like you install Ghost, and it kind of runs you through the instructions after that. So it's pretty simple. So it's easier to install things with DigitalOcean, but like I said, I'm trying to do this on Cloudways, and that's the kind of plan today. Okay, so basically where we've kind of got to is in this guide, you had to install the Ghost CLI, which has already been done. It's been checked. In terminal here, we can kind of see that we're already running it. And all we need to do now is create this kind of folder directory, which we're kind of struggling with because something to do with permissions. So hopefully this is kind of what the Cloudways can kind of help us with. But anyway, what we're going to be trying to do is we're going to try and create a folder. We're going to set the permissions of the folder, and then we're going to move into that folder that we've created. That's all we're basically trying to do. And then once we're in that folder, we would just want to install Ghost, and it will kind of give all the instructions after that. Okay, I'm not too sure. So sometimes this is, yeah, depends on the person's technical knowledge. So they've already kind of set up a directory, but I think we've already got that directory. Um, okay, so while we're figuring out the tech support, I'll just do a bit of some chats and ramblings. So I'm trying to do something new at the moment, which is basically, and I don't know if it's interesting or not, but I'm trying to give a bit more behind the scenes of what it's like to actually work and build things and work for yourself. And yeah, the idea is just to show more kind of the work in progress, um, rather than kind of the finished, polished end result. Because I think that a lot of the times it's very easy to kind of show the end results of things. But sometimes it's more interesting to kind of see the behind the scenes and how things are actually done. For example, if I'm kind of showing what websites and stuff, but how do you actually build a website and what does it kind of take? Um, just on that, if you're at this stage and you're like, hey, I just want to kind of create a website and I don't really care about any of this stuff, I just kind of want a website. Well, there's plenty of other spaces where you can create a website. So one area which is super nice is Squarespace. I think I've used them years ago, but I would recommend Squarespace if you are basically, you don't really want to have to worry about doing all this stuff yourself. You just kind of want to pick you'll see here that you can pick a template, and let's skip this. Skip. Yeah, here we go. So the nice thing about Squarespace is that you kind of pick like one of these websites which are kind of professionally designed and all that kind of stuff, and you can kind of pick one, and they'll basically install it, and they'll get your domain name and everything, and it'll be super easy to get set up. So I would recommend this for people who are not that technical. I don't really care. You just want a website, you can do it yourself. Do it with Squarespace. We'll look at the pricing. The only thing when it comes to these things I always find is okay, the pricing's in Indonesian rupiah because I'm in Indonesia. We can change it to that's USD. Let's refresh. So as you can see, it's like $16 a month, and you get a free custom domain. So as you can see, if you just want a website, you can do this and it'll get up a website. For me, I like to have a bit more freedom and yeah, a bit more options when it comes to things. So I'm quite comfortable with kind of building websites myself, and I kind of enjoy kind of setting it up. So for example, on this Cloudways thing, it is um, probably going to be like $16 as well for the server. And basically on that, I can install as many websites as I want. And I like that kind of flexibility and freedom. But, it comes at the cost of having to be able to kind of do it yourself with a bit of the technical knowledge. But Squarespace, great place to start. And you can see here, if you pay a bit more, you can set up a business here, and you'll get website analytics, and you also get the e-commerce thing, which is cool. So if you want to get stuff up and start selling it, they do take a percentage of the transaction fee for what you sell. But yeah, that's one way you can kind of do it. Um, all right. Well, it's a bit yesterday. When I was chatting to the support, the guy was super helpful, and he had kind of really good technical knowledge and skills. And today is a bit more tricky, but sometimes okay. Um, okay, so this is going to be interesting. So I think what the issue is kind of coming into at the moment is um, my permissions are limited. So basically, if it was like a Google Drive, I'm not allowed to create folders in that Google Drive. I think that's kind of what's kind of going on right now, is that in Terminal, I'm trying to be creating this, which is not letting me. So I'm kind of having to get the Cloudways folks to see if they can help do that for me. And then hopefully after that, we can just run and install Ghost. Okay, let's, while we kind of wait, see how this goes, we can chat a little bit more about building your own websites. So this, I was showing you Ghost, but another way that you can set up your own website is with WordPress. So WordPress is basically what most sites are used to be built on, which is great. And like I was saying, you can put a WordPress site on Cloudways. You can also use other websites like GoDaddy, but I would not recommend GoDaddy. I've used them before for it's in Bahasa at the moment, and I feel like they're just very well known because they have been around for a long time. You've probably seen them in ads and stuff when it comes to like setting up a website. So you can get your domains from them. So like this kind of URL as a domain. You can also they can host it. So basically, kind of put that your website, like your WordPress website, they'll kind of host it for you. But I've always kind of found that the customer support sucks, and it's kind of slow and it's clunky. I just never had a really good experience with them. But as you can see here, what you'd probably want to do if you want to set up a website, you'd look at a bundle and starter bundle, which is like, oh, you get your domain name, you'll get an email, and does it host it for you? Yeah, I'm just doesn't say, does it send email and stuff? Okay, so basically this is just like your domain name and getting an email and all that kind of stuff, but you'll still need to host it as well. Yeah, so they can host your website, but I always kind of find that it's their, I don't know if it's their servers are old or they kind of put you in with a bunch of other people. So the good thing if you're doing it on Cloudways is that basically there's no other, you're not sharing this space with anybody else. This is your own little box, like your own little computer somewhere, like a little computer out there that just runs your website or multiple of your websites. But when you use something like GoDaddy, and sometimes if it's just like this web hosting, well, basically you might be sharing that with a bunch of different people as well. Um, so that's why they can kind of get it that this cheap price. All right, let's try this out. So hopefully, if this kind of worked out well, and if this has been set up properly, we can just CD. So CD is basically just like clicking. That's why I look at it. It's like clicking into a folder. All right, cool. So it worked. So how I can tell that it worked is basically you can see here, this is our server. And before we were just into that folder, which is like the app folder of the website. And now we are in this here. So we've just kind of clicked basically all the way down into that folder, which is awesome. So this has worked. Now the question is, what we should do next is just do this ghost install. Okay, cool. So now we have come into the next issue of setting up on Cloudways is basically the node. So let's kind of explain a little bit what node is. So it's node.js. And again, I'm not a developer. I know very little of this stuff, just putting it out there. But basically, its node is JavaScript, which runs on a server. I could be totally wrong, but that's how I understand it. But basically, you got to have this running on your server. And basically, all this is saying is that the version that is on the server is only 14.21.3, but it needs at least 18.12. So basically, it just needs updated. So I'm pretty sure I'm not able to do it on my end. So I'm going to ask the Cloudways people to see if they can help with that. So the thing is, if I was doing this on DigitalOcean, basically I could be doing all this stuff myself. So I could be probably updating the node myself. I wouldn't have had any of these issues with the permissions and stuff. It's kind of just like you create this server on DigitalOcean, and it's kind of just like fair game. You can kind of do whatever you want. Um, but when it comes to Cloudways, because they actually, it makes it a little bit more tricky. But at the same time, that's why they have their kind of support. So it's kind of like a trade-off as well. But I think for me, and if you're anything like me, and it's kind of not a developer, and you're kind of having to figure this out yourself, that's why it's way more handy to have someone like a customer support who can kind of help out with this. Um, Another thing that you can do, and what I was doing yesterday as well, is that you can use basically ChatGPT. So let's go here, and I'll show you like this is what becomes super cool about ChatGPT. So now I have I pay for the subscription, so it's like $20 a month, but it's actually pretty good with when it comes to code and stuff. And if you're not a developer like me and you just trying to figure out yourself, having something like this is super helpful because I could just type in the same stuff to it, which I can basically just now I'm not asking it a question and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to put in what it put in the terminal. Um, and this is why AI is absolutely wild. So as you can see here, it's going to give me literal instructions on what to do. And basically what it's trying to do here, it's trying to show me how to install the later version of the node. So this is what I imagine the folks over at Cloudways are doing, is they're basically you know, running some of these commands in their side over the terminal. So um, I don't know if it will always get it right, but in terms of just learning about what's going on, then you know, using ChatGPT is absolutely awesome for this stuff. Okay. All right. While we wait, I'm going to got a sparkling mineral water that I'm going to have. And I also have this thing, which I normally do. This is off topic, but in the interim, it is lemon and ginger. Let's see, we can see. And I have this like just pure lemon and ginger, and then I have it with a bit of sparkling mineral water here. But it's awesome. It's kind of like a clean, instead of having like a Coke or something, I kind of normally have these. I can also change it like this. So another cool thing that's kind of going on is that so I'm trying to, oh wait, maybe you can hear me. So I'm doing these live streams. I'm trying it out. I'm going to try and show basically more the behind the scenes of like building an online business, and sharing some thoughts and ideas to more people across the web. Um, uh, if you're interested in this stuff, or if you're interested in doing any of these live streams, I'm using this software called, yes, okay, cool. I am using, basically I'm using this software called Ecam Live, and I paid for a year subscription. I got it on Black Friday. And I got this kind of pro subscription, and it's super cool because you can do all this like live streaming and um across like all these different platforms, and it can do all this kind of cool stuff. So as you can kind of see, like I look like that. I can switch to here. I can zoom in to like this, and this is all live. So I think that's really cool. So that's why I want to do more live videos, and I can kind of make it a bit more interactive if I use these different things. Um, so hopefully that's quite cool. Um, and another cool thing is that I'm controlling the switching with a phone app. So I don't know if you can kind of see. Oh, there we go. So just by clicking different, oh, let me see. Oh, that's the zoomed in one. Yeah. Oops. And this app is, what's it called? Stream Deck. Oh wait, you probably can't hear me. So it's called Stream Deck, and you can actually get like a physical device, which is super cool. Which has like all these different buttons and stuff, and you can do sound effects. You can switch between cameras, and everything that I'm kind of showing you right now. But they also have an app, which is free, and you get like 6 of these little options, like I'm kind of showing you here. If you pay for it, oops. If you do pay for it, I think you can get like way more of these little boxes, and you can kind of tap more options. So, yeah, if you're interested in doing any of this live streaming stuff yourself, then I think it's pretty cool. And I'm still pretty new to this stuff. All right, let's see if we've got to with support. And I'll move to this camera thing. Maybe that's more interesting as well. Okay, so support is still trying to figure it out. So, setting up a website. So what I'm trying to do here is if you go to Start Designing Live, okay, the website is down because I'm trying to install it right now. But basically, all right, other stuff that we can talk about. If you want a domain name, so domain names is basically whatever you go up to, like, you know, if I go to www.thematlock.com, like I had to like buy that, and that's a domain name basically. And yeah, so basically, where do you buy a domain name? So buying domain names. So it's funny because not all places are equal in this that I find. They can be different prices. There can also be some like trust issues when it comes to buying domain names, and I'll explain that a little bit more. But basically, you'll go to one of these websites like Namecheap, as example, that's come up in Google. You'll type in whatever name that you want to get. So it's like yourname.com, for example. And you might find that someone else might already have it, so you can't actually take that one. So you might have to go for like a .co.uk or .io and things like that. But I would just be careful whenever you're searching some of these websites, because, for example, on GoDaddy, I wouldn't recommend it. Again, I feel like I'm slagging off GoDaddy a lot, but I just haven't had a good experience. But what I do find is that I was searching for a domain name which was available, and I was searching on it on GoDaddy, and I think then the next day that that domain name was like completely gone. I couldn't buy it anymore. Now I've heard, and I was reading up about this before, that this is actually kind of a common thing where basically people can kind of like find out whatever is being searched for, and they will kind of come in and sweep in and like buy the domain name, which kind of sucks. So that's why I would kind of be careful where you're kind of searching. I don't know if you're doing it on incognito. I have no idea if these things help, but I would kind of avoid GoDaddy. Now, what I have used is I have used Namecheap. That has been, I think it's pretty good, and the prices are quite good as well. But where I do buy my domains from, and I would recommend them, is Cloudflare. So I think Cloudflare is, I think they're most known for technically other stuff, which is like CDN stuff, kind of like, you know, technical stuff. But one of the things is that you can buy domain names from them. You see here, let's see, that was it there. Products, domain registrar here. And as you can see here, like they're probably one of the cheapest when it comes to domain names. So I would use them if I had a recommendation. And I try to buy everything when it comes to domain names on Cloudflare. And if I can't get them on Cloudflare, because sometimes that they might not have the right. So like you have like cloudflare.com. I have metalabs.global, and I think Cloudflare doesn't really have .global domains. So that's why I had to register it on Namecheap. So, but I've heard good things about Namecheap. So you can use it as well because they have more like, I don't know what's the name. It's like .com, .co.uk and all that kind of stuff. So if I had a recommendation, I would stick to either of these two. All right, let's see what Cloudways is up to. Okay, so this is such a tag team with Cloudways and putting this together. Ali to the rescue. Okay, so let's have a look. So if he has done it correctly, I'm just running a ghost install again. And fingers crossed, it is going to actually install. And so far, so good. So now this is probably where I'm going to go off on a little tangent. Okay, so, and I'll probably show you. This takes a bit of time to install, I find. So I'm just gonna like let that kind of run in the background. Okay, so I'm just sending messages back to Cloudways guys, and we'll let that install. Oh, okay, we're actually on the next bit. So what it's asking for is the enter your blog URL. So now I can type in start designing life.com. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So it's asking for the MySQL hostname, and basically I'm not too sure what's going on here with the Cloudways people, and he's saying that we can just use localhost, and it says here on the website, use localhost, press enter to use the default value, so we can just do that. Now it is asking for the username and password. So whenever I did this video, I kind of thought I would be able to kind of showcase more, and but it seems like most of this video is going to be me interacting with chat support, which is kind of funny too. But sure. But hopefully, if you are wanting to set up your own website with Ghost on Cloudways, you can probably see what it's actually like. Um, and from the looks of things, from my experience of doing this, is that you're probably going to have to get some help with the support anyway. So kind of knowing this is into the Ghost database. Okay, database name, that should be fine. Setting up an okay. So I'm trying to find out stuff. I'm trying to make sure that I don't share too many personal details. So it's coming around to password stuff. So but I don't. Hopefully that's not gonna get hacked in. But sure, we'll learn. Okay, so where have we got to? So we're in the process of installing Ghost at the moment, and we're installing it on Cloudways. And with the help of support, we are pretty further on. So at the moment, this is probably not that exciting because it's all just stuff in terminal. But you will see shortly, hopefully, is that once this is set up, we'll be able to go to the website and yeah, I think that should be kind of exciting. But actually, let me just show you the screen. All right, back to this stuff. Now, one thing that we'll probably need to do is we will need to set up, basically, we need to connect. Let's see if we can show this. The domain name over to the server. So basically, we need to meet them to talk together. So wherever you have got your domain name, so for example, on Cloudflare. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to sort out this password thing and try not to show everybody the passwords. Okay. We are getting into some errors. I wonder how far we got. Let's try this again. So I'm going to show you what's kind of going on. So basically, we have come into some issues. So yeah, let me see. Um, so the how to avoid this is to basically um to use the ghost. So like I was kind of showing you at the start, if you were watching, if you don't want to have to bang your head against the wall like we are doing or right now, you can always go to ghost and you can select one of their plans and you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. The only issue is that you can only use the free official ghost themes when it comes to this $9 plan. If you want to use a different theme, like one of the kind of cool ones I was showing you earlier, you would probably have to go up to this one here, which is $25 a month, and then that's up to 1,000 members. Which, if you're just getting started out, then this is probably the one you're going to have to go to. But as you see, the more, if you go up to like 3,000 subscribers on your website, it's going to go up to $40. So this is the kind of thing which is, if you get up to 10K, you're up to like $100 a month. So it depends on how much this stuff is worth the headache, I would say. So I don't know. Hopefully we can figure this out, and if not, well, we have tried. Um, we can get it like I kind of showed on the DigitalOcean. That's a lot easier and straightforward. When I was looking around, the internet and I was looking around on YouTube and stuff, and I couldn't find anything which talked about doing it on Cloudways. Maybe this is why. But I thought it'd be cool if we could figure it out, is being able to have this as a resource that other people can kind of follow along and be able to do it themselves with Cloudways. So we'll still have hope. But where was I getting to? Oh, with domain names. Okay, so all right, if you have domain names, these are some of my domain names. And we will go into the Start Designing Life, and we will go into DNS settings. And as you can see here, we will want to point basically this, the public IP. No, that's the server. And let's see, yeah, there's the public IP. So basically, this is how we get the domain name pointing over to basically where the website lives on the server. So we go over here, IP address, we'll change that up, and we'll turn the proxy status off. Sometimes that can cause some issues. And yes, so basically what's happening now is we are linking up if you type in startdesignlife.com, if it goes over to the server or not. And while we're kind of waiting for support, if you want to check that, we can kind of go over to, if we just type into Google like DNS checker, and if you type in the website, so we'll go to www.startdesigninglife, and it will do checks. And as you can see here, it is still pointing to this old IP address. So basically, I think I was setting up on DigitalOcean. So it's probably pointing over here, but we want it to point over to Cloudways. So normally this shouldn't take too long, a couple of minutes, 10 minutes. So while this is all kind of going on with the supports, at least we've kind of sorted out the DNS. All right. So another thing you probably want to do is, so this is on Cloudflare. If you've done it on Namecheap or GoDaddy or I think Google Domains, but I think they've shutting that down. You'll do the same. You'll just create a new, like add a new record. It's an A type record. You'll type in the website name and you'll kind of put the IP in. And then what you'll want to do as well is that you probably want to put in a CNAME. So again, you go add record, type and choose CNAME. We talked about A names before. And you want to put it as a www. And then you want to put your website as well. So might startdesignlife.com. And basically that means is whenever you type in, or someone types in www. And then whatever your website, it will go to that website. Versus if you don't, then it'll only be, you know, whatever your website is, dot, and that will go there. Let's check the DNS. Still pointing to the old IP. Okay, so while we're waiting for some responses, I can move back to this. Yeah, so this is my first kind of random live stream of just trying to show my work and doing it in public. So hopefully we'll get something out of it. And thanks for following along. Today has been mostly about how to set up a ghost website with Cloudways, which I feel has been mostly how to talk to Cloudways customer support, which has been fun too. But I think this is the reality of trying to do stuff yourself, where things just don't always work out, and you know, you can spend hours kind of going round and round trying to figure stuff out. That's just what it is like sometimes. And if you work for yourself, a lot of times it's like that. And I find like most of my time with working with like for myself, it's just trying to figure out stuff. And even when I hire people or I'm getting like help with freelancers and things like that, normally, you know, I can ask them for help with like certain things. And oh, got a visitor. And maybe I thought someone was at the door. But yeah, so anyway, so whenever working and stuff, so normally I can, if I hire people or hire freelancers and stuff, I normally get them to help in if with design stuff or with this with some marketing things and things like that. But I feel like most of the time when it comes to whenever things are, I get stuck and I have to kind of figure it out, then I think that's where I kind of get stuck. Sorry, distracted, getting some calls and stuff. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, let's try this again. And if it... So we're running it, we're installing it. It says put in the URL, startdesignlife.com. Okay, cool. The SQL hostname, that's all cool. And the username and password, let me just switch it up. And I think that they gave me that before. Yep. Username, okay. Password, okay. Database name, that's fine. Sudo password. Okay. So what's basically happening? Can I give you an update? We're kind of running into the same issue again, which is something to do with I think it's something to do with permissions or something, or password. Let's just keep on going. Okay, so let's give an update about what's going on, and we'll switch to a bit more interesting. Okay, so basically we're running into the same errors, and I think it's something with on their side, which is it's all been about permission stuff. So I think the lesson I have learned here today, and I think the lesson we're all learning today, is when it comes to using Cloudways to do this stuff, there is limits that I think that they put on, which probably just helps to not mess things up, which makes sense. So basically it stops people from, like me, who has no idea what they're doing, is kind of going in and messing up with the server and just kind of completely wrecking things. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, I don't know how long we've been live streaming for, but I am going to call it there for today. Today's experiment has been setting up a ghost on Cloudways, and I'm going to say that this is still going to be a work in progress. If I figure it out, if I get further on, I will do another live stream. But yeah, let's keep it going from there. Hopefully you learned a little bit about Ghost. You learned a little bit about hosting and about domain names, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully we can